Have you ever caught yourself wondering, when will God give me the instruction I'm waiting for? It's a question that has crossed the minds of many, and it's a conversation worth exploring. But it is important to know that God gives us instruction. We know this when we read Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, where it says, "And God said, let there be light, and there was light." We see that there is instruction here, and then it is followed through. In John 10:27, Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice and I know them, and they follow me." The word know in Greek is ginosko, means come to know. In order to receive instruction, we have to know what the command is. The Bible, a treasure trove of wisdom, offers us several insights on this subject. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31, it is written, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." This scripture paints a vivid picture of the rewards that come with patient waiting. In this instruction given from God, the instruction is to wait patiently. In the realm of patience, the story of Abraham and Sarah stands as a beacon. Despite their advanced age and against all odds, they received a promise from God that they would have a child. They waited, sometimes impatiently, but they held on to God's promise. And in due time, their son Isaac was born, reaffirming the truth that God's promises never return void. In 2 Chronicles 7:14, it says, "If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land." God gives us the instruction to humble ourselves and pray and to seek his face, then for us to turn from our wicked ways, and by following through with obedience, our land is healed. Let's also consider the story of Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers. Despite his circumstances, he remained faithful and obedient to God's instruction. His patience and faithfulness were rewarded when he rose to become the second most powerful man in Egypt, saving his family from famine. Drawing from these stories, it becomes clear that waiting for God's instruction isn't a passive act. It's an active engagement, a constant conversation between us and God. It involves prayer, reading the scriptures, and seeking wisdom from those who've walked the path before us. It isn't always easy, but the rewards are immeasurable if we follow through. Now, receiving instruction from God is one thing. Following through is another. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 22 tells us, "But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves." This scripture underscores the importance of putting God's instruction into action. It's not enough to simply hear or read God's words. We must live them out in our daily lives. As we wrap up this conversation, here are the key points to take with you. Firstly, waiting for God's instruction is a process that involves patience and active engagement with God. Secondly, once we receive these instructions, it's crucial that we follow through, putting God's words into action. Lastly, remember that God's timing is perfect. Even when it seems like the wait is endless, God is working behind the scenes, preparing us for the great things he has in store. Remember, the journey of faith is a marathon, not a sprint. So, as you wait for God's instruction, do so with patience, faith, and expectant hope. And when the time comes to act on his instruction, do so with courage and conviction, knowing that God's plans for you are good and filled with promise.